In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Please welcome.
Welcome to the gayest podcast ever.
Hello and welcome to the gayest podcast ever. I'm Josh and I'm here with
Eric and CJ.
Hello, boys. How are you doing this evening?
Good. I don't know. It was a Tuesday for sure. You know, everyone says Monday's the worst. I'm not sure about that. I think Tuesday's pretty terrible.
It's a day for me. I'm officially unemployed, so it's a day.
Cheers?
Yes, yeah.
So your daily text that you guys send and you're like, happy Thursday, happy Friday, I'm going to just be like, what day is this?
We're going back to quarantine, CJ, now.
Yes.
Look at this new album cover I made.
I can't wait.
Oh my gosh, I can't even wait if he's going to go dig into his box of wigs.
Oh my Lord.
But yeah, so if anyone hears of a job for CJ, you know, that doesn't involve like hooking on 8 Mile, send it his way.
Or
maybe it does.
Or construction manager, carpenter, motorcycle mechanic. I'm getting some really weird feels out there. People get sending me these jobs. I'm like, I don't know anything about motorcycles.
Oh, I thought you were applying these places because of the type of men that work there.
Oh, no, I want to manage them, not like mechanic.
CJ's like, I'm now the corporate wide manager for Home Depot.
Right.
I think you hit it right, Eric. I thought you were going to say corporate ride. I was like, just ride me home, honey.
I'll just put it on my resume and see what happens.
Put a quarter in, see what happens.
That's a whole different kind. LinkedIn's going to be like the new Grinder. I can't.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine? You're like, CJ applies, he's just wearing nothing but a tool belt and a hard hat. Like, hey boys, here for work.
It is a Zoom.
He just comes in for his interview. Oh, wait.
It's a Zoom interview, guys. They can't see the tool belt.
I'm implicating new uniforms. He's like, Shush, Betty, you might not even work here in a week. Right.
I'm dressing for the job I want, not the job that I have.
They'll only be able to see my harness from here out.
I can't.
I'll work
my
real
overalls,
hard.
Perhaps. I'll put some nice, like, farmer's overalls on, some grease on my eyes. It'll be great.
Yeah,
Are you talking about for now or like Halloween on Saturday? Because CJ, I am so excited to tell you that it is probably going to be the first nice Halloween in like 20 years. It's supposed to be like 55 and sunny.
Of course it is, because it's COVID. Now the kids go trick-or-treating.
No, this is my worst nightmare. The first best Halloween we've had in years, and I can't do shit.
Yeah,
I just want
all
you
the
to go
parties
in
are
your
canceled.
in your Halloween costume on your lawn and close the portal. Just close the portal.
Well, I've got to figure it out. I've got a whole closet full of costumes and wigs. I just need to go choose one and then hopefully close the portal of 2020.
See, Josh, I told you, he's got album covers. They're coming.
I would really, really appreciate it if we close the portal, and especially because the election is next week. I'm wearing my USA shirt because I just really want the USA to be good again. So we got to close the portal before the election, or maybe we close it the day of the election. Like we suck him into the portal and close it.
I get that. Yeah, I'm down for that.
I feel like Buffy did it one season, and that's what we need to do.
Well, I mean, I sent you guys some articles now. Like Florida has like flying squirrels, and there's 2-headed snakes now on top of the dropping lizards. And what's her face got elected to the Supreme Court. It's just a bad day.
Yeah, I mean, Coney Island.
I'm not very religious, but those things seem like the signs of the apocalypse that they're coming. Like squirrels, 2-headed snakes.
I was with Eric when he unveiled the flying squirrels, and I literally looked at him and I was like, that they're not supposed to be here. They're in Australia. What are they doing in America?
When CJ sent like the mousetrap at his work and it had the snake on it, I was like literally looking, and then that's when the article popped up on my feed about the 2-headed snake, and I was like, what's this now? If it starts raining snakes, I'm out. I'm done. Just take me out of the race.
RuPaul and Martha Wash promised me men raining, not snakes and squirrels and lizards. I'm so let down.
They were halfway there. It was just a different type of snake, a one-eyed snake flying at you. These
be
ones
careful,
got
we're all
4
gonna have
eyes.
dreams around Christmas of boyfriends of Christmas past.
Yeah, I'm not even sure. But we were just before we started recording, we were talking about what everyone's been like watching on the TV. And we were talking about Saturday Night Live. And have you guys seen the impressions of like Jim Carrey as Joe Biden? And I mean, what's Alec Baldwin's been doing Donald Trump, I think, for the last 4 or 5 years.
Well, Alec Baldwin is great at it. They have changed his makeup a bit. Like, they've done something different with the eyebrows for him. Like, they're more gray and more prominent. That's
just him. He's like, Alec Baldwin's like 70. He's like the new granddaddy status. Okay?
I couldn't tell if it was Alec or like it was Trump. Like, I haven't noticed Trump in a while, like, because I refuse to look at him. Like, is his facial features like changing? But Jim Carrey, spot on, does the best Joe Biden, like, looks wise.
I was dying when he's like, shut up, man. Like, all of
hey,
Jim
man.
It doesn't even look like Jim Carrey. It looks so much like Joe Biden, and his mannerisms, like, are just so spot on. Like, it was making me laugh so hard when I was watching Saturday Night Live over the weekend, and we were then talking about the transformation of Adele.
Oh, my God.
I didn't even know that was Adele.
Incredible. Yeah, she looks incredible.
God. And she was so funny. Like, I was shocked at how funny all of her skits were. And, I mean, she lost her shit completely during the one Africa skit with Kate McKinnon. But watching her die laughing makes me giggle. So,
who doesn't lose their shit with Kate McKinnon? Like, she literally is hilarious. Everyone has lost their shit with her.
Yes. And she doesn't. I don't know how she doesn't.
Well, Adele, like, I've never seen her live in concert, but I've seen, like, recordings of her concert, and she's very, like, funny in concert. So I guess I should have expected it because she's funny in general. But I didn't expect that she'd be able to do, like, a scripted thing. I don't know how much she, like, wings or if it was all scripted or what, but it was very funny. I was very impressed.
Yeah. And I don't want to go too far off, but speaking of Kate McKinnon, I think it was either the last episode or the episode before when she was doing Weekend Update with Colin Jost, and she broke character. She broke what they call that, the fourth wall.
Yeah.
Okay. And Colin Jost was like, he's like, Kate, are you okay? And she's like, clearly I'm not. And then she just literally like looks at the camera and she's just like, these are some crazy ass times, and this is what we know. And it's this. She's supposed to be this professor saying what we know and what we don't know, and she's like, "This is." She goes, "We know this is crazy. This is we know. What's going to happen next? This we don't know." Like, and it was so good and it was so heartfelt, and like she did the exact same thing. I remember in 2016 after the election was lost, and she did Hillary Clinton at the piano singing "Hallelujah."
Yeah, I remember that.
Because Leonard Cohen had also died that week. And so she sat at the piano in her Hillary, and she literally could see the look on her face because it was just such a hard loss for a lot of people. And it was just so good. And it's just like, man, 4 years later to see her like on this Colin Jost, and he's like, are you okay? And she's like, no. And it literally, like, I felt it so hard. Like, it's been a rough 4 years, and then 2020 to cap it off. Like, it's just been heavy. It's just been so heavy. And so to see someone that's so like light and loving and full of energy and life also experience that made me be like, okay, I'm not alone in this. And it was just really good to see.
I mean, at this point, we might as well laugh because we've cried enough. We might as well laugh.
Laugh? What are you talking about? If this were like this season finale, we were watching Game of Thrones last year, like, winter is coming. I am terrified of what is about to happen.
I'm trying to be positive here.
Is this the penultimate episode where the worst thing happens? The next episode,
but literally, I can just imagine it. Like, just say, like, if he did win, knock on wood, I hope he does not. But like, literally, I just see the words "Christmas is canceled" coming out of his mouth.
I told Spencer I'm preparing myself for the worst, hoping for the best, but preparing myself. Well, I voted. That's all I can do right now. It's out of my hands. I donated. I voted. I sent postcards.
Everyone should vote.
Yes,
vote. Yes. I mean, if he wins, I guess our next episode will be coming live from the road somewhere. We'll be on the run.
Yeah.
And we're live from I'm not telling you where.
Times. Yeah.
Didn't you say something else about SNL with Adele and Weekend Update? You just watched it, right? And you mentioned you were like, "Oh my god, the Weekend Update!"
It was so it was so good because just Colin Jost, who is
Mr. Scarlett Johansson,
he got pregnant, right? Do they have a baby? Are they engaged?
No, they're just engaged.
Just engaged. Okay, yeah, he's a cutie.
He's adorable.
He's not like
hair.
Yeah,
the hair.
I was gonna say he's not like, oh my god, super hot, but he's cute, adorable, and funny. And Michael Shea, who he does it with, they just have a really great camaraderie that I really enjoy.
Oh, yeah.
And Michael Shea has that really like understated, funny, like those dry one-liners, like you either get it or you don't. And I just really, really enjoyed it, and it just made me laugh. And the one thing they were talking about was the last debate, which was the final debate. He's like, God bless America, that we don't have to endure that anymore. And then he goes, but Joe Biden, he's like, all you really had to do is be like, show me the receipts. How tall is that wall? What prison is Hillary in? When did you get rid of Obamacare? And it's like, oh, wait, none of that happened.
I love it because he'll say a joke and he immediately breaks. Like he can't even he barely gets through it and then he just laughs. He's the best.
I could never imagine trying to deliver this kind of stuff, and then you're trying to keep a straight face and it's live. And then you got your buddy next to you, oh, so it's like this, yeah.
I can't keep a straight face now. So
right.
Yeah, so I'm super curious to see what they do in this very last Saturday Night Live before the election. But I feel like everyone always says like Saturday Night Live, it goes through spurts where it is and is not funny. And the cast right now, I think, is a good cast. Like they've got some new up and comers. There was a couple of them that I was like, oh, I'd never seen you before. And I really liked it. So
plus the material that they have right now with everything going on, it's just they don't even need the writers. The jokes are writing themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, election years are always going to be good for SNL. Like every 4 years, they're waiting for those awards to come rolling in, that's their material.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, I think we should take a quick little break, refill our drinks. When we come back, Eric's going to update us on all the happenings. So much has happened in pop culture.
Pop culture was exploding today.
Oh my god, my phone just kept buzzing. So we need to refill our drinks and we'll be right back, so stay tuned.
I love the way that you talk.
And we're back. We got new drinky drinks, and I'm gonna just turn it over to Eric, and I guess start from the top. I don't know if we want to tackle each one or just whatever. Just
you guys, this day was BANANAS. Literally.
Oh man!
Literally, Gwen Stefani and Blake finally got engaged. Didn't let anyone try to speculate. Nothing about the press. She literally took it to Instagram, flashed the rock with it saying, thank you for saving 2020 and the rest of my life.
So last week, though, she posted, it was on The Voice. She came out. She said, I just want to tell everyone we are not married. We are not engaged. So I think it's very interesting that a week later, they're suddenly engaged.
I think there was some type of leak last week, or someone had said something, because I was not shocked at the engagement because I thought it was getting leaked or something.
Right, yeah.
But they've been together for what now? 4 years? 5 years?
5 years. I think 2015 they started dating.
Right? Yeah.
True love on The Voice. That voice is bringing people together.
King of country right now, and what is she? Pop.
Well, she's Scottish. She's going to have to bring something to the table.
I mean, I can't wait to see this chic wedding dress she's going to be wearing on the country farm with her cowboy boots and her pink streak in her hair.
It's an interesting pairing for sure. And I know old school Gwen Stefani fans are not a fan of new Gwen. They're like, we want our old Gwen back. We don't like this country bumpkin Gwen. But
so is this her? Will this be her third wedding?
Second, right?
I mean, if you technically, because her and Gavin had a London wedding and then a U.S. wedding,
but she wasn't married.
Technically, but no, her second marriage.
She wasn't married to the guy from No Doubt.
No.
Oh, so they were just dating. They were just
yeah.
For some reason, I thought they were married and that they got a divorce, and she wrote all those great songs. She married
Gavin. They had the 3 boys, and then when way later in their marriage, they found out he had a daughter from a way 20-year ago relationship. Tried to make it work. They had the 3rd baby, I think, for that extra oomph. Didn't work out.
Listen, what celebrity couple doesn't have a 3rd baby, like just from somebody else from 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Get in line.
Well, and like there was always
Miranda Lambert won in this situation. Let's be honest. Have you seen her husband, the cop? He's
she just released her new single "Settling Down," and he's in the music video, and he's shirtless again. And I just
see, he just started his own Instagram account. What scares me?
Followed.
No, followed. See, but this is what scares me is because that fame gets to you. I mean, just think about us. Just we're average guys. But you start getting those DMs from everyone around the world. Like, come on.
That is one cop that can serve me justice any day.
See, I'd be like, you ain't getting no damn Instagram. Hell no. I would put that in our prenuptial agreement if I were.
Do you remember Britney's one bodyguard who was like taking care of her babies like years ago, and like he went Insta famous all of a sudden and like started his own like Facebook page, like Britney's bodyguard, and then she fired him. This is what's going to happen, I feel like.
I mean, essentially, isn't that what Kim Kardashian did? Like, she was Paris's assistant, and look at what happened there.
And right there is where I'm going to do my little transition to a new topic.
You like that?
All right, we took over your Here's the lamp, Josh. Go sports. Speaking of Hiltons, Kathy Hilton announced today that she is joining the new cast of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So she will now be on.
Okay. I said, because you said that and I didn't really know what it meant. And then I saw it on Instagram.
You didn't know what it meant?
Well, because I thought she was going to be a housewife. She's a friend. What the fuck is a friend of a housewife?
He was very upset over the Friends. I'm very sad about the Friends.
Yeah. So she's not like a main character?
I mean, I guess we will see. I mean, they may not be divulging all the details. Like, different media sources are putting different things out there. She may be a friend, but friends are very involved. Like, I don't know that they get a tagline, but they're very
I'll
involved.
be there for you.
Well, because one of my friends had messaged, like, what was the beef? Oh, we have a Bravo group. And she was like, I hope they talk about the beef between Kyle's husband and Kathy's husband, and why he had this big falling out on Beverly Hills. They never talked about it. I mean, Kim was the middle sister. She was the alcoholic. Everyone just kind of dealt with her.
Wait, so there's Kathy, Kim, and Kyle?
There's Kathy. She had a dad, and then the mom got divorced and had Kathy, and then she married another gentleman, and then they had Kim and Kyle. And Kim was kind of the Race to Witch Mountain star, and Kyle was the star of Halloween when she was a child. So they were the two that started on the original Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. But then Kim's drinking became very apparent, and they just couldn't have her on the show.
What's Kim's last name?
Kim Richards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're saying all these things that I know, and I'm like, but who are these people?
The viewers know what I'm talking about. But anyways,
Race to Witch Mountain, I know that.
Kathy
I know that.
Kathy is Paris's mom, and then
I saw the remake with The Rock.
The Race to Witch Mountain or Jumanji?
Yeah, they redid Race to Witch Mountain with The Rock.
Oh my God!
I smell what he's cooking, and I want to bite.
We are getting off track. I am not talking about The Rock. That was very.
So, do you think this is a ploy to get Kathy no longer a friend, but an actual cast member, and then Paris is going to come on? And then it's going to become like Paris Hilton show all over again?
No, they just hired the first Asian American to come on as well. They're trying to make all the cast more diverse. They just hired the first African American one to go on to the Real Housewives of New York. So they're trying to make the cast a little bit more.
Wait, but like,
what kind of show is this?
What season was where was Nene Leakes on?
She's on Atlanta.
Oh, and like Potomac has got some black ladies. Right?
Yeah,
Potomac.
Yeah, they're
so you're talking about
they're trying to make the cast more diverse. I think there's been a lot of talk about what they were doing with this reality show because, a lot of stuff went down with like the Vanderpump Rules cast and a lot of them not coming back. And I'm kind of curious what they're going to do with that because 3 of the main stars on Vanderpump Rules just announced their pregnancies and they're having all these babies and gender reveals on Instagram. And now, like, I know when the Kardashians said that they were ending, there was a lot of talk about bringing Kris Jenner on and like how they were going to boost the show. They're just revamping a lot of the cast. And like Kathy Hilton was a huge announcement because she's been like a friend kind of like made appearances on the show. But now that she's like a confirmed cast member, it's like a huge deal.
I wonder if they'll get to get like discounts at Hilton hotels.
Yeah. It just means that Paris is going to be on it, and Nikki's going to be on it, and like their kids, and their other son just had a baby. Like if they're going to start bringing, so I feel like they're trying to expand Beverly Hills into this bubble. And you know what?
Right. So
that Lisa Vanderpump
hitting up the Hiltons.
It's not the Housewives anymore. It's the Republican National Convention. And next year we'll have Ivanka and Donald Jr.
Do you find it funny that like Paris had her simple life and then that ended and then here came the Kardashians and now the Kardashians are ending. Now the Hiltons are coming on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Like, I'm just telling you, these people are reality gold.
I'm so glad that Nicole Richie got out thing and like she's got a career now and I love that for her. She's a mom.
Is Cameron Diaz.
Cool
her
mom.
sister-in-law with Cameron Diaz, married to the Madden twins.
Mm-hmm.
She's a cool mom.
Lifestyles of the rich and the famous. Wow. What does art imitate life or does life imitate art? I mean, back in 2000 at what was that giant concert that used to have in parking lots with all those punk bands? Vans Warped Tour? Is that it?
Like
Warped Tour?
Sure.
I think that's for Good Charlotte, right? That was like a thing for Good Charlotte, right?
It's for people that don't shower, I think.
But interesting. So what else is there was Kathy, there was Blake and Gwen. Did anything else happen today, yesterday, day before?
I don't think today anything else happened besides my life went up in flames.
I saw Julia Roberts was on Instagram. I didn't know she was there.
I mean, like, I do admire all the votes that like the celebrities are trying to get out. Like, I remember when in 2000, when was it? 2000, I want to say 4, Paris Hilton was huge with That's Hot. And they were like, that was their big get the vote out. It was like vote or die. MTV was starting all that. But like
Rock the Vote. Yeah.
Like all the celebrities now are like really, really involved in trying to get people out there to vote. And I think the vote this year is going to be amazing. I really hope it goes a certain way.
Guys, is MTV still a thing? Is MTV still happening? Like, do people watch MTV? I
get my music videos from YouTube.
Like, I literally, the challenge show I watch, it's on MTV.
Yeah, but I feel like MTV was so like pushing for people to vote, especially young voters, and they had all these commercials, and we had TRL, and we had all these youthful shows, and I feel like that's where we got our progressive movement from. And now MTV is just like, man, no one really watches MTV anymore.
It's just kind of about social media now. That's just what people are used to and used to getting their information from.
Yeah, it's a different. You got to keep evolving with the times.
You got to keep up with the Kardashians.
Not no more. They done. Yeah. They got. I
mean, Chloe's taking Tristan back. I think Courtney's going to end up with Scott. I can't keep up.
Was Courtney the one running for president? I was going to say, was Courtney the one wearing the Kanye for president hat?
Listen,
I don't support that.
I can't with the Kanye for president.
Although Courtney makes the worst decisions of all the Kardashians, and Khloe's had like a baby with a drug addict, and Courtney still makes the worst decisions.
Tristan is not a drug addict.
What's the one that
Lamar, that was her ex-husband, who she married after 9 days, okay? Like,
didn't Kim just post that now that they've had like their COVID scares and everyone's healthy, that she surprised all their best friends and took them on a private island so they could get away from...
What is your guys' problem? You better like really step up the game. Like,
listen,
I want a private island and a private plane.
Listen, you're the one with the cottage.
Instead of like Love Island or whatever that is on The Bachelor, it'll be like COVID Island. You know, like go there and get your COVID and stay with your friends. I don't know. Like, I mean, I guess if you have to quarantine somewhere for 14 days, a private island is the place to do it.
You're right, Josh. If we went on a birthday trip and had our own private plane and our own private island, you'd be like, COVID Island, I can't go. You know, Josh would be the one first with this big ass hat, his 19 totes, like, I'm here.
Well, and Josh, a mask.
First of all, I do the big hat. Josh does the totes. Get it straight.
Whatever, Captain.
You know, I'd wear my mask. I would quarantine before and after. There's safe.
Wash my hands. 20 seconds.
Just squeeze sanitizer all over CJ before he gets on or off the boat.
Don't rock the boat. Don't rock the boat, baby.
Yeah, but fascinating.
Yeah, more to come in the pop culture world. Stay tuned. 2021 is upon us.
Yeah, I mean, like, is Bravo even filming anything right now? Like,
Southern Charm is about to start. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City premieres in November. Real Housewives of Orange County is on right now.
But that's all stuff that's been filmed. Like, are they
filming
able
right
to
now?
Create new content?
Yeah, I mean, everything's all over all of their social medias.
They should just give them all a handheld and let them record it themselves. It'll be like Blair Witch Project. Like,
I just feel like
Andy's back in the clubhouse, so I mean, things are happening.
Yeah, I just feel like their fights wouldn't be as dramatic if it was like via Zoom.
Oh, he's done a couple reunions via Zoom. The Beverly Hills one was via Zoom with Denise Richards.
She just mute it.
Oh, he does. That's who should do the presidential debates is Andy Cohen. He knows how to handle people. Like, no.
If he can handle those housewives, I'm sure he
Andy
can
is
handle
God. Okay.
Uncle Joe and 45.
Right.
But, all right. Well, thanks for that, Erica. It was very informative. And hopefully that we'll be seeing Kathy Hilton. Well, excuse me. Pardon me. That wine went right to
Josh,
that.
Don't worry. It'll probably be on in the summer, so we'll be watching at the cottage together. Don't worry.
I can't get hooked in on another show. I can't. Did I tell you I finished The Boys?
Yeah.
Did we talk about that on this podcast?
No, we talked about it on our walk when we went to go walk over and see Chad last week.
No, but I feel like CJ, for one of his topics, did The Boys.
No,
Amazon.
Oh, I did The Boys, yeah.
Yeah, and that's how Eric found out about it. And then he watched it at the cabin while I was
CJ
there.
has turned me on to two shows, Umbrella Academy and The Boys. And I watched both.
Listen, if anything, I turn people on.
And
the shows.
For another day, but I found out the show that we were talking about with 13 Reasons, he's on your Nurse Ratched show, and I'm a big fan. So I don't know, maybe I'll give that a shot.
Okay.
To be determined.
TBD. All right, let's refill our glasses and we come back. We will give you some more juicy gossip. Stay tuned.
I love the way that you talk.
And we're back.
For some juicy gossip.
Yes, we have all we got the juiciest, the juiciest juicy fruit gossip. Juicy fruit. I can't.
I will take it. Guys. Don't worry. CJ, why don't you tell us all about the juicy gossip of the witches?
Are we going with this? Because I'm ready.
Yep.
Let's do it. I want to hear all about it in your little coven book you got there.
Right. Listen. Harry Potter, like, speaking of witches and warlocks and wizards.
I bet Eric, you've probably never seen a Harry Potter, have you?
I've seen like 3 or 4.
So
Well,
you
there's
probably
8.
don't know that that's Harry Potter.
Please, do not even.
Well, there's 8, so you got some catching up to do.
It's like the Hunger Games. I got hungry and I quit watching. Go ahead.
Well, Harry Potter has some Potter in it.
Oh my God, you're funny.
God.
Let's go.
That's good.
Oh my God.
That's legal in Michigan.
It's CJ's sketch.
Oh, okay. It's my sketch now, apparently. So, anyways, on HBO Max, I can't even remember what service did it. Hollywood's all about the remixes these days, and remasters and remakes and sequels and this and that. But they just redid one of my very favorite movies, The Witches, which was out in 1990, starring one and only Miss Angelica Houston. You both have seen it. I know it.
Oh, it was one of my favorite movies as a kid.
Snap for Angelica.
Scared the shit out of me as a child.
It did. It scared the shit out of me as a kid, but like,
it was very scary. Like, it's like
super scary.
Even though it's a kid's movie, like, I was afraid of Miss Angelica Houston, even though she's a diva now and one of my favorites. So it came out in 1990. So, Eric, you and I were 8. Josh, you were what, 2?
5. I was 5.
So,
I mean, depending on the part of the year, I was actually 4.
Right. So the rest of the cast I don't really know, except for the guy who was the hotel manager, who was also Mr. Bean.
Yeah, Rowan Atkinson.
Rowan Atkinson.
Yeah. But Mia Zetterling played the grandmother. She was a Swedish actress, so that's why we don't know her. And then Jason Fisher played little Luke. Only thing that he was really in.
It's all I can hear in my head.
Yeah, he was in Parenthood with Steve Martin.
Oh, he was.
Was he Mikey?
He was more of an adult. I think he played Kevin, whoever that is.
Kevin.
He might have been an adult.
Yeah, okay, that's his oldest son. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
he was the one.
He was also in Hook. Yes.
He was in Hook, yes. Thank you. I was like, he only had 3 things, and Hook, Parenthood, and The Witches were.
See, you have fans. Go!
Yay! So the whole movie is based on a book by. I had to literally look up the pronunciation of this guy's name. His name
is it Roald?
Roald Dahl. Roald Dahl. So he has a book. It's called The Witches.
Where does he do drag at? I don't know.
Right. So literally in my notes, I wrote Rue as in RuPaul /all/doll. So that's.
Well, you guys know what else. You guys know what else he wrote, though, right?
No.
Stop it, guys. He did Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Seriously.
Matilda.
Love Candy.
I love Matilda.
Matilda.
And that's kind of a weird movie.
I think he did James and the Giant Peach, and then he did the BFG.
Oh, so
Big fucking giant. I mean, best friend giant or whatever.
Yeah, no, he like literally is like one of like those like childhood authors. Yeah, very very important.
So, anyways, The Witches he wrote in '83, or it was released in '83. So. The movie had 2 endings for the version, 2 versions for the ending. One,
the original.
Very true to the book, which Luke at the end stays a mouse. And then the other alternate ending was where Luke gets basically turned back into a child. And that's what the director went with. So the writer of the book, Rual, kept going, no, please be original. Stay true to my book. Please keep him as a mouse at the end. And the director kept going, no, we need a happy ending. We want to turn him back into a little boy. So they shot 2 different versions. And apparently Rual cried when he saw the version where Luke stayed a mouse in the ending. He was like, thank you so much. I love it. And the director still said, nah, we're going to do an happy ending anyways. And so changed it so that Luke turns back into a child at the end. So I thought that was very fascinating. As far as Miss Angelica Houston, who looked amazing the entire movie.
Oh,
so
apparently in black, yes.
Right. So what they told her was they want her to look as sexual as possible except for the scenes where she is a witch.
Well, that's the only part where I really got scared, though, in the movie, was when they took their masks off and all the growing and the bald stuffy heads with the hair, and I was like, ugh.
So I love it. So she's like, witches, take off your shoes. And they take off their shoes and they don't have any toes. And then witches, take off your wigs. And they remove their wigs. They don't have hair and they've got sores all over them from the wigs and all this. So Angelica Houston, who plays the Grand High Witch, removes her mask and she has this giant nose and everything. It took 6 hours for her to get in the makeup every single day. And it was all prosthetics. There was no CGI back in 1990, so she was wearing every bit of that. There was a quote of her saying that when she gave the monologue, when they were in the ballroom, and she was like, witches, we're going to turn all the kids into mice, blah, blah, blah. She said that it took so long and she was in this hot rubber for hours and hours and hours a day that she was ready to cry, and she couldn't even, the lines she was saying didn't even make sense to her, that she was just like out of it. Like she was just ready to call it quits because it was such strenuous work. And
she was calling Jack Nicholson like, I'm about to quit. I swear to God, I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit.
She was dating Jack Nicholson at the time, and they said that Jack Nicholson called the set like all the time.
I'm sure.
Like, is Angie available? Is Angelica's available?
He's like, I'm about to quit, boo. I'm going to quit.
Right? So that takes us to the remake.
And then literally he's probably filming the Joker movie of the Batman, so he's in all of his crazy makeup.
Yeah. What year did this come out? 89?
90?
Oh, yeah. So
it's right around that.
Right around that, yeah.
Yeah, so skip to the remake that just came out like 3 days ago or whatever. It's on HBO Max. It is going to be released in theaters on the 28th. I don't know what theaters are open, if they're going to show it, but it's on HBO Max. Don't pay to go to a theater. Just get HBO Max. So, I'm sorry. I'm choking over this wine. It stars Anne Hathaway as the Grand High Witch. Octavia Spencer as the grandmother, Stanley Tucci as the hotel manager, Chris Rock is the narrator because he's actually the adult version of Luke. Kristen Chenoweth is a new character that we didn't have in the original. And then I don't know how to pronounce his name. I think it's J. Zier Bruno plays Luke, the little kid. They took a lot of liberties with this. They really updated it, but they made it, instead of taking place in England, it takes place in Alabama in the 1960s. It's that part I absolutely love. They give Octavia Spencer's character a lot more backstory. Like her childhood's there. Like she's dealt with witches most of her life. So like she knows the witches. So you know everything. She knows everything about the witches. Anne Hathaway, for me, was just
a little too presenter at the Oscars, over the top.
I mean, I love Anne Hathaway, and I think she's done some great characters, and her really
and Stanley Tucci kind of work together a lot, though, don't they?
Right. Well, to be honest, Stanley Tucci, I could care less if he's in the movie. He had such a small role. He didn't do any of his Tucci-isms, as I like to call them. Like, he was really they could have recast that and it would not have mattered at all. He had such a tiny role. But Anne Hathaway, she tried to do this accent the whole time. And I wish she had just done her normal accent, or I wish she would have done like a country accent, if anything. But she did this like Eastern European accent. And it was so distracting. And sometimes it was so campy. And I get it, it's a kid's movie, but to me, it just did not work at all. Angelica Houston's natural, British accent was so much scarier.
I'll wait for Redbox. And also, I'm very curious to see, if you guys feel about, this Hocus Pocus 2 that they're going to make. If you feel the same way you do about Hocus Pocus. And now I
Hocus Pocus 2
ruined your,
whole...
Time out. Those are two different things. The Witches is a reboot Hocus Pocus 2 is a sequel, and all the original cast is coming back.
Right.
Okay, well, I just hope it doesn't ruin your childhood dreams. I'm saying because he didn't like the movie and he liked it when he was a child. Maybe he's just outgrown it. So
no. So where Angelica Houston wore all these prosthetics and that was her costume, Anne Hathaway's character was completely 100% CGI. So she didn't have like the big snout and the hump on her back. Wasn't grotesque.
It was so gross.
She just had this big, creepy, like, mouth.
I did not. The creepy smile was the worst part of the movie. That was scary. Like, that was creepy.
The only thing that, I mean, she had like 3 fingers or whatever.
Yeah, I didn't get that. All the witches, they gave all the witches claws, and I didn't get that.
I think I'm okay on the witches. I mean, I don't know that I.
They were like this, weren't they? Yeah. They were like weird claw things.
Yeah, overall...
It was shot beautifully, though. Like, the hotel, the scenery, the costumes were all beautiful.
The movie was enjoyable. I liked it for what it was. I loved the updates that they made. I liked the change of scenery, that it was in Alabama instead of England. I loved all that. And I loved that they gave Octavia Spencer's character a backstory, and we really got
was the star of it.
She really was.
Octavia Spencer is the star of everything.
Yeah.
Any movie she's in. She's that Ma movie. That Ma movie was... She should have fired her manager, whoever hired her.
Yeah, never saw Mom. Never
I didn't see that. I heard bad things. So I was just
it was real bad. I was like, who told you this was okay?
Yeah, but I mean, overall, I give it probably 6 out of 10 stars. They did go with the original ending, which was Roald Dahl's original ending, which Luke stayed a mouse at the end, which to me, I was very confused. I was like, why are they changing the ending? And then when I started reading, I was like, oh no, that was the book's ending. That's how it actually was supposed to have happened.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Thanks for sharing that, because me and Spencer were confused as well.
It was very confusing. And I honestly think I liked it, the original movie version where he actually turns back into a boy. This one almost felt like they were going to do a sequel. Like
this one, that's what we thought. They changed the ending because we thought they set it up for a sequel. That's why we thought they changed the ending.
So Kristen Chenoweth was.
They already did that. It's called Stuart Little 2.
Right, pretty much.
It felt like that.
Kristen Chenoweth was in it. She played a new character who was basically Luke's pet mouse, who had previously been turned into a mouse. Whereas in the original, it was just a mouse, that it was his pet. Well, this was his pet, but she had already been a kid and turned into a mouse. She had this whole country accent and classic Kristen Chenoweth. Like, it was a great role for her.
I'm just shocked they didn't give her a song. Like, it felt like, because she's from Oklahoma, so she's already playing a Southern. It's like, just give her a damn song already.
I don't know if that character added really anything to the movie. There was a couple of comedic timings in there, but
what really upset me that they didn't include, that terrified me as a child in the original, it wasn't in the new one, I was waiting for it, was how the Grand High Witch trapped that little girl in the damn painting. Every time I see a painting, and I'm just like, I want to like knock on it like Angelica Houston did. And I was like, oh, and then the little girl just aged and she was like feeding the ducks one day. And she like moved in the picture. And I thought for sure some crazy witch was going to trap me in a painting.
Well, I think that was a play on what the new version did with Octavia Spencer's best friend. Like, she was turned into a chicken.
It felt more comedic, though, whereas the little girl trapped in that painting.
Really, okay, I'm going to have to watch this movie because I do not.
Yeah, like it's not a horrible movie at all. If you're a fan of the original, you will leave very disappointed. I think if you watched it right out, you might enjoy it quite a bit.
Do they do the running down the hill scene? Is that a thing?
No. Not with the baby that was greater. No, none of that. As a matter of fact, he was a little boy, very little in the movie. Well, I say that like, I guess he was a little boy, very little.
I actually think that they really gave a good chunk to the pre-storyline before. Like, Anne Hathaway, like the Grand High Witch, is not even seen for the first like 30 minutes of the movie. Like, it's they give a lot of backstory to the little boy and his family and what it's like to grieve the loss of your parents. And now he's got to live with grandma, which I don't think was done in the original.
No, we didn't
watched
really
the
get
original
that.
a week before.
Anne Hathaway is just not my first choice for the Grand High Witch of this movie. Like, I just think they could have went so many, like, it's such a darker direction, like, with celebrities, this, you know, like Mila Kunis, like, somebody just a little more evil, edgy. Like, Anne Hathaway was in the, just the Princess Diaries.
It's so funny.
Yeah, no.
Steve kept going, is Lady Gaga in this? Is Lady Gaga? Like, she's in this, right? And I'm like, no, I think you're thinking of the Death Becomes Her remake that they're doing that Lady Gaga's rumored to be in. But I kept thinking, Lady Gaga could have maybe been
Megan Fox, like somebody just a little darker than Anne Hathaway.
Megan Fox.
Well, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of anyone. Like, when I think of Anne Hathaway, I don't think of dark. Like, that is just not the image that's playing in my head.
Anne Hathaway, I will say, was very campy in it, and it was a lot to do with the accent. She tried to put a lot of comedic
was hard. The accent was hard. Costumes and the way she moved her hands, I thought were really great.
So it was shot beautifully. They had a lot.
I hope they win costume design at the Oscars. Cheers. I hope they.
Well, right. Well, like
that's why they're releasing it in theaters. You can't get an Oscar nomination without being in theaters.
Right.
That's why they're releasing it.
So she levitated in it, and there was a lot of like her floating and being more witchy than just like this ugly rat thing. So that worked for me more, but just overall, meh.
It was meh. Do better.
It was meh. But I do want to bring up some of my favorite witch movies, and I know that Teen Witch is not on this list, Eric. I apologize.
I mean, is this even juicy gossip? I don't even know if I want to listen to it.
Well, I mean, so first of all, speaking of remakes, they're going to redo The Craft that's coming out in a couple weeks.
I have very strong feelings about this, and this will be a different topic. I do not think that we should talk about it.
Well, I wanted to say, so, like, obviously, we've remade Witches now. Now we're kind of remaking The Craft, although I don't think it's a remake. I think they're trying to spin it off as a sequel.
CJ, I think I sent you the article. I read an article about it, and so the writer of the original Craft wrote this new one. So it is by the same writer, which gives me a little bit more hope. But they
I didn't know that.
Yes. And so this movie is set in the same universe. So Nancy existed. Nancy was someone that turned on her sister witches 20 years ago. So it's very much, I don't think it's necessarily a sequel, but it's like set in the same universe, if that makes sense.
So
but it's a completely different storyline.
So there's a picture of Nancy in the trailer, like a literal picture, one that moves. Like
Frizzer a ball.
Yeah. So that's in the trailer. So that gives me hope. And the article that Josh is describing, they made this a lot more feminine, a lot more feminism, power to women, not fighting amongst women like the original movie did. This is more like a sisterhood. So I'm kind of interested in that to see how that works. But I just
Sisterhood of the Traveling Witch Pants is what I think they're calling it.
Love it.
Yes. So I did want to just say some very famous witchy movies, some of my favorites, and then get your all's like yay or nays on them.
Okay.
Blair Witch Project.
Nay.
So when I first saw it as a kid, I was still under the impression that it was a true story.
Same.
And so I was in high school and my parents were out of town. We lived by a wooded area. So I remember driving home after watching the movie and just like looking at the woods, like what the fuck's about to happen to me? I'm scared for my life. So I'm looking back on it now. It's definitely a nay, but at the time,
smart marketing campaign.
Very good marketing. Very good marketing. We already mentioned it, but The Craft.
Yay
For The Craft. Hocus Pocus.
Nay.
Yay.
Eric, why don't you love Hocus Pocus?
Because it's terrible. Oh my God, when we were on our little mom's weekend, they made me put it on in the background where we played euchre, and I wanted to like...
You're going to love it. We're going to put a spell on you, and you're going to love it.
It's terrible.
I think we've watched it 3 times this Halloween season.
Go ahead, CJ. Next.
Yeah. So Practical Magic.
Yay.
Yay.
Oh, who's going to replay that one? Like the chick from Harry Potter? Like, I can't wait. And Selena Gomez? I can't wait to see this remake.
No, they're just going to have Sandra Bullock. And
I just wish that they would quit remaking movies is what I wish they would keep.
No, they're just going to have Sandra and Nicole do it again. They're just going to keep doing it.
So no, it's going to be Sandra Bullock's daughters, and like they're going to be the older ones, and there's going to be some storyline.
I would love that. I read the book of that one, and there's several other books in that series.
So, The Witches of Eastwick.
Who's in that one?
Cher.
Susan Sarandon.
And Michelle Pfeiffer.
Michelle Pfeiffer. Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson's the devil.
Never seen it.
You've never seen it?
It is so good.
Maybe Halloween movie next year. So
good. And they actually did a TV version not long ago.
I forgot about that.
Rebecca Romaine was in it.
It did terrible. They canceled it after like 2 or 3 episodes.
I loved it. Because
Rebecca Romaine was in it. So.
Right. So I was a fan of the movie, so obviously I loved it. It was basically just a movie, but in a series version.
Yeah. Eric, I mean, it's the 80s, so you have to appreciate for what it is. But, like, essentially, Jack Nicholson is the devil, and he moves to this small town in New England, and he ends up, like, enticing 3 separate women, Cher, Susan Sarandon, and Michelle Pfeiffer, and they all, like, have these weird hang-ups and stuff, but he falls in love with all of them, and he gets, like, has sex with all of them, and they start turning on each other, and they realize he's the devil. It's good, though. It's good.
It's basically a Housewives episode.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm more intrigued in this movie than any other movie.
So, old school bed knobs and broomsticks.
Angela Lansbury? Hell yes.
Yeah, it's a little Disney.
Love bed knobs.
I love that movie growing up.
Eric, what'd you watch growing up?
Normal kid stuff.
Bed knobs and broomsticks is Disney.
Right.
I just remember my Goonies tape out.
Oh my God, that's not witches. I remember the scene where the little boy had the bed knob in his pocket and would come out, and they were like the enemies were coming, and they're like, "Hurry, Michael," or whatever his name was. And he couldn't get it out of his pocket, and he finally got it on. They threw it on the bed, and then they flew away.
Josh, you had 2 older sisters, and CJ, you're an only child. I was the youngest of 4 boys. So I did not like Halloween time. I didn't like the scare. I didn't like to be tortured. I didn't like to watch scary movies. I didn't like any of that.
I'm so sorry for your life.
Well, it's okay.
We're here to help you now.
Yeah. So one of my favorite movies, and it's not one of my favorites, but it's a good one, and it's a witchy movie, Beautiful Creatures. Have you seen that? It's more of an updated film.
No.
It has
Abby Rossum.
Yeah, from Shameless. She plays her
evil
and
cousin.
Emma Thompson plays.
I have seen it. I take it back.
The villains of it, and then his name is Thomas something. He's been in a lot of like weird teen movies. I don't know if the main character's been in anything other than this. It's like set in like Alabama or Mississippi, and they're very country, and she's a witch.
And Jeremy Irons is the uncle.
Jeremy Irons is the uncle.
I think I read 2 of those books because it's kind of like I think they were trying to be the new Twilight.
Based on a book.
That paranormal teen romance.
Right now. It's a good little watch. I really enjoyed it. So as I was like Googling like which movies, trying to be like, oh, am I forgetting anything? Obviously, I forgot Harry Potter. And even though he's a wizard, there's witches in it. I guess it's
wizard Harry.
Harry, you're a witch, Harry. You're a wizard, Harry.
God, I cannot.
And then the Wizard of Oz.
Oh,
there's witches in that.
Are you a good witch or a bad witch?
No, I'm just a bad bitch.
So you know what? Just a side movie that's not really my favorite, but I really don't hate it. Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the movie starring
Ryan Reynolds.
It actually had the mom from Queer as Folk. Wasn't it Justin's mom was the aunt?
Yes.
I know who Justin's mom is, but I know.
Yeah, it's baby
You guys
Ryan
go ahead
Reynolds.
with your little witchery. I'm just going to continue to hope to be a vampire. Cast your little spell.
Well, next week we'll do vampire movies. So, this is the witching hour.
Witch, please. Anyways.
So that's all I'm going to say about witches, except I'm going to go outside and try to close this portal that's been opened for 2020, and hopefully...
Yeah. Well, and it's not a movie, but I know CJ and I both really enjoy the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina on Netflix.
So good. I've been rewatching it lately.
Yeah,
they're canceled.
So they announced that the fourth and final season will premiere on New Year's Eve. So they're going to upload the last 10 episodes or whatever it is.
Yeah, they're calling it parts. So it was
this is part 4.
Yeah, so this is part 4, and it'll be the last. But I think that's good. I think it's a great show.
Yeah, we got 4 parts.
4 parts is probably good enough.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. It was good. The thing about that show is they took something satanic and witchy and just made it super, super campy and went for it.
Right.
Instead of saying you're the baby's godmother, you're the baby's night mother. And instead of saying oh my God, they say, oh my Satan. They just really turn everything and flip it.
Wasn't Charmed a witch show? Weren't they witches?
Oh, Charmed.
Yes, yeah. Charmed.
Okay, so didn't they just try to remake that and that totally bombed?
It has
they're
a
on
couple seasons.
Yeah, they had 2 seasons, I think.
So they're Latino women.
Those witches, they're not having a good time. That's something we could talk about. Jesus,
so
those girls are not happy with each other.
Yeah, the reboot of the Charm series, they're Latino women, and I love that.
And one of them's a lesbian.
A lot more culture in there, other than just 3 rich white women in a big old house. They're 3 Latino women, and they've got culture, and they're dealing with all these myths that the Latino community deal with, and I love it. And there's a lesbian, as Josh said.
Yeah, I watched the first season of I watched the original OG Charmed, and I loved it. It was one of my favorites.
Loved it too.
It was the WB's highest.
Pre-Shannon Doherty or post-Shannon Doherty?
I like it both.
I like it both. They handled that as well as they could.
Because the Shannon Doe is best friends with your little Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
SMG.
Yeah, they are besties, man.
And it's super funny. So of all the people making a big stink and fuss about this old Charm versus new Charm, Shannon Doherty is the only one that's come out that's been both sides of the fence and being I just hope the new cast inspires and is putting forth a good show like we did, and that's all I can hope for. And it was a very really nice, sweet thing. Whereas Holly Marie Combs and Alyssa Milano, they really took offense that a lot of the girls on the new show said oh, it's a feminist update, and they were bitch, we were trying to be feminist, we were doing all that. You can't call
Alyssa
it that.
Milano of all people, literally
Alyssa Milano started the Me Too movement.
Yeah, she also started as Lady Godiva as a feminist movement on the show. She rode down the street horseback naked with long hair because she was told she couldn't get a job because she was a woman.
Yeah. So I think that's where the snowball started, and then it just exploded. And I also think that Holly Marie Combs and Alyssa Milano were really upset because when they found out that they were rebooting Charmed, they thought it was going to be a reboot like The Conners, where it was just 20 years in the future and they were going to come back and get that paycheck. And that didn't happen.
They should have been asked to come do a cameo, but still.
Yeah. It's weird. Reboots are hard.
Yeah.
You got to find that fine line.
Listen, if you try to reboot my Buffy, I will go ballistic.
Well, yeah. I'll you know what? I'll give this Witches a chance. Maybe when it comes to Redbox, maybe next Halloween I'll give it a shot.
Is Redbox still a thing? Who's a DVD player?
Stop with your Redboxes.
That's not a thing anymore, Eric.
Well, I don't know what else to tell you. I'm not paying $6 for it on TV, judging what you told me.
It's not $6 on TV. We all have HBO Max. We just need to find you a way to watch it.
I just need a password. Anyway.
All right. Let's refill our glasses, and we come back we're going to get into a new position.
Josh is going to give us some new juicy gossip.
I did it. I came up with a much better trend. Oh my God, now I fucked that part up. I literally was going to say a transition, and I was going to say something else.
He's going to be wearing his best Juicy by Kim Kardashian and Paris Hilton.
I hate you all. Thank you.
We'll be back with a new position.
We'll be right back.
You talk.
All right, and we're back. Listen, more juicy gossip, Erica. But so I want to talk about the most followed woman on Instagram. Do you guys know who that is?
Well, yeah, we know.
My mom's not on Instagram.
It's Marsha Kolinsky. No, it is the one and only Miss Ariana Grande. I did not know she was the most followed woman on Instagram, but she is.
I didn't either.
Yeah. So Ariana Grande 2 weeks ago said I can't wait for you guys to hear my new album that I'm releasing this month. And, the whole World Wide Web went ablaze in craziness. And so last Friday, she released Positions, which is the first single off the album, also called Positions.
It's so sexy. It really is a sexy song.
It's good. It's good. And so then the whole album comes out this Friday in a couple days. And it's her 6th album, which is good for her because she's only 27. She was born in 93.
6th album? That blows my mind.
Josh, I love that you say only born in 93. You're not dating somebody who was born right in that time frame.
I know. I could be with Ariana Grande.
But 6 albums?
Girl, you don't even know what to do with that high ponytail.
How many albums?
The fiercest high ponytail, huh?
How many albums does Britney have?
Probably 6 too.
It's these are still relevant and still going strong.
Yeah, so it's Billboard has called her the most successful pop artist to come out of the 2010s. Because Taylor came out before the 2010s.
Okay, that makes sense.
But because she's the most streamed solo artist on Apple Music and Spotify. Which is insane if you think about it. But so she came on the scene. 2013 was when the Yours Truly album came out, and she had The Way. I think that one had Mac Miller and Baby I and Right There. Those songs were somewhat popular. They kind of bubbled under the top 20. But then in 2014, she released My Everything, which had Problem with Iggy Azalea. I got one more problem. Yeah, that was big. Break Free was off that album with Zed. This is the part where I break free. You know that one?
No.
Yes, you do.
No. Don't know.
How about Bang? It's a really good interpretation that I don't know.
I'm tone deaf. Do you guys know Bang Bang? With Jessie J. Bang. Yeah. Okay. That's, so this is what she really
that might
started.
be my first singing on our podcast.
Jessie J's in that too.
Yep. And so then she released, so she was putting out, it's 2020 and her 6th album, and her first one came out in 2013. So she's just
but she's not like a party girl. She's not really into the celeb scene. She's not like the young Hollywood girl that you hear about that's out and about.
No,
she dates guys and she's engaged, but
she's dating the guys, but she's not all about getting out there in public and making
she said that she has a shit ton of anxiety. So she does not like to go. She's literally said I've been in therapy since my parents got divorced when I was a baby. She goes, I have severe anxiety, and she's the best way I can do it is going and singing my music and doing concerts, but she's not.
I have anxiety. We all have a little taste of anxiety. Could you imagine being out where there's 40 million cameras going off in your direction and everyone is trying to crowd you and get around you, like I'd be like, oh, I'm not coming out at all.
Yeah, she stopped doing interviews for like a year or two after the donut incident. Do you guys remember the donut incident?
I know.
She's tried to erase this from everywhere, and so I think it was in 2015. She was caught on video licking a donut and saying that she hated America.
I remember this.
And it was so like it was, and it went and no one ever thought like they were like, oh, this is the end of Ariana Grande. But it kind of subsided. The Gayest came to her rescue because right after that she released Side to Side with Nicki Minaj. You know, like where she talks about riding a dick from side to side. The music video's got her. Yeah, it's good.
I don't know.
You got me going from side to side. Yeah. If you guys
Josh
ever
having
see
sex with that in college.
It's cute that you think I was in college in 2016. God bless you. My new favorite podcast co-host.
Excuse me.
Girl, she just said I was a
Michelle, we're talking here.
Excuse me. She said you're new.
But then when shit really exploded was 2018 with the Sweetener album. And that was No Tears Left to Cry, God is a Woman. And that's when, because it was right after in 2017, the Manchester shooting. So she was, and I don't know guys, so in May of 2017, she was performing in Manchester, England. And as soon as the concert ended, a man opened up fire. And it was something, I thought it was something to do with like, in the Middle East, kind of like he was upset about something happening in the Middle East. He just opened up fire, killed 22 people, injured 100 more. It was super, super bad. Ariana canceled the rest of the tour, and then she ended up doing a big concert to raise money for all the victims. And so that was in 2017. 2018, she was working on this album, and she said after that happened, she completely changed directions, the whole album, and it kind of gave her like a new lease on what musical direction she wanted to go to. And Sweetener was huge, and then she surprised us all, released Sweetener in 2018. And then in 2019, not even a year later, she released the Thank You Next album. And the Thank You Next album, I loved it. It was so, so good. It's just one of my favorite pop albums. And she's the first solo artist ever to occupy the number 1, the number 2, and the number 3 spot on the Billboard countdown. So she had Thank You Next, 7 Rings, and Break Up With Your Girlfriend, I'm Bored were the number 1, the number 2, and number 3 song in America. That had not been done since 1964 with the Beatles. Like, she is a powerhouse pop star. And I love her for that.
Oh. Yeah, and I think Thank You Next was such a, like, powerful, like I loved it. Like everyone was going around saying "Thank you next."
Thank you
and then,
next, yeah.
And then the 7 Rings, where we had a little sample of "These Are a Few of My Favorite Things." Like, I mean, it was so iconic and great. Like,
and the idea that she did the Mean Girl. This is the correct video.
Yes.
Correct? Okay, the Mean Girl video. Yes. And then had Kris Jenner as her mom with the video camera. That was branding genius.
She's so in the tune to what pop culture is and what it means for people, and just kind of tweaking it and playing on it like it's genius.
Yeah, the whole album was great.
Yeah, well, and Eric, I know when the Thank You Next song first came out, you're like, I'm okay, and then I sent you the music video. You're like, oh, okay, I can get on board with
Even
this.
if you say it now, I'm like, thank you.
Yeah. And like she name drops all of her exes in it. Like that's some balls. Like some people, like Taylor Swift just sings like anonymous songs about her booze, but like Ariana literally was like, for Pete, I'm so thankful. Like, you know, but she's like, yeah, bitch, I'm not marrying you.
I mean, for Pete, I'd be like, damn, I fucked that up.
So, do you think
I don't get Pete? I don't get it.
We mentioned Saturday Night Live earlier, and so every time I see Pete, all I think of is him and Ariana's like relationship and the fact that they were engaged. Like, do you think that's traumatizing for him that he's like Ariana's ex?
He talked about that he was really, really upset by how, because literally on the Sweetener album in 2018, she had a song on there called Pete Davidson.
Yeah.
And it's about how much she loves him. And then on the Thank You Next album, not even released a year later, she literally says, like, for Pete, I'm so thankful, but thank you next.
List all these exes that she has.
Yeah, it's insane. So she literally goes from one album to the next being like, I love you. Ooh, bye, boo.
Yeah. Thank you next.
Yeah, so that's just insane to me that like she can do that. But it's funny, and like I was reading a lot about her and what like she literally said that she wants to release music like rap artists do. She was clearly, I'm not a rap artist. I'm not claiming to be, but she's just like how those boys just drop songs and say whatever they want because that's the type of music I want to make. And I was like, look at you go, girl.
I just want to see her hair down, like a different style. I need something else.
So
Well,
I
was going to say, it felt like she was starting to let go of the ponytail, but then she almost brought it back.
So, how Ariana Grande. So how she got her start was on that Nickelodeon show, Victorious, I think it was. And then from there was a spin-off called Sam and Cat, and she played this cat character. And Nickelodeon really, really wanted her to be a redhead. So she had to dye her hair.
Wait, Sam and Cat, like the Miranda Haas. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Miranda
the girl from Drake and Bell, yeah.
Yeah, all those Nickelodeon kids. So she was on that, and so they wanted her to be a redhead. So she had to dye her hair red every single week that they filmed an episode, and it killed her hair. So the reason she does the high ponytail is she's trying to grow back healthy hair, and Josh, it's
been 6 years. I mean, there's got to be some hair in there. There's like celebrity stylists. There's Ken. There's Justin Anderson. Like, come on, there's got to be people that can fix your hair.
Now she's known for the high pony. No one has a higher ponytail. It's time to
change up your look. I mean, Cher was known for the bell bottoms, but times change.
Well, we'll let her know. Okay. We'll send her a note on Instagram. She's only the most followed woman on there. I'm sure she'll read our message.
She'll read
mix
all
it
of
up,
the
girl.
messages, I'm sure.
Maybe get a perm.
Make sure you hashtag it juicy gossip.
Yeah, with two juicies.
Two juicies. We're juicy fruit. We're juicy fruity gays.
Juicy square.
Juicy square.
That's my new rap name, by the way. Juicy Squared.
Juicy Squared.
That's my
Juicy
job.
Josh.
Yeah,
that's
it's going to be my new job now that I'm unemployed. Now I'm going to be Juicy Squared.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's also super cool that she loves to collaborate with anyone and everyone. I mean,
she's the new Pitbull. Yeah.
The new Pitbull? I can't with you. But I mean, you think about it. Her and Nicki Minaj have a friendship, which I just love and think is strange and weird, and I love it. But she, the Jessie J and Nicki Minaj, she had that huge song with The Weeknd. Oh shit! I thought I wrote it down. No, I didn't. Oh fuck, that was on me. But she had that song with The Weeknd. She had a big song with The Weeknd. And then she had just this last year, her and Justin Bieber released that song "Next to You," "Stick with You," "Stick with You," "Stick with You." No, that's Pussycat Dolls.
I have no idea.
So her and Justin Bieber released a song, and all the proceeds went to first responders and stuff like that, which is really cool.
Oh, that's sweet.
And then her other big duet this year was with Lady Gaga. Which won MTV's Video Music of the Year award at the VMAs.
So, interesting fact about that, I read an article where Lady Gaga was saying when they were recording, she kept going back to Ariana and she goes, "So I want you to sing this like you've not sung anything before." And Ariana kept doing her normal, like, ah. And Lady Gaga's like, "Well, that's great. It sounds beautiful, but really, any way you want to sing that you've never sang before, like, sing it that way. Like, as crazy it might be, like, we'll make it work." And, like, I guess Ariana just really couldn't, like, get it. And I think that's why Gaga did, like, the more, like, "Rain on Me," like, the deeper, like, crazier versions of it. I think she wanted Ariana to do those, but Ariana just kept wanting to stick with her normal, like,
high ponytail. Yeah, no, we're aware.
Yeah.
Well, and like it's crazy to me too. And like I remember I read something very similar to that, and how Ariana and Lady Gaga was very much like protective of her, and like she was very much like, "I've been there. Like I can see that you're so like anxious and like you want to like fit like but like," and because like Gaga can do whatever the fuck she wants now,
right?
But I feel like Ariana's working towards that, and she's doing a decent job of it between all of her success and, her music ability. And a lot of people call her Baby Mariah.
Yeah, but she's young. Like, I'm really curious to see what she is going to bring to the table in the future, because she's obviously like a little star to be reckoned with. Like, she's putting music out there. She's putting, dance videos out there. She's putting trends out there. Like, people love Ariana, so I'm curious to see what she's going to bring. I want her to like kind of just
mix it up. I get that.
Mix it up.
She's still in her 20s, right?
Yeah.
So like
27.
And I believe 20s should be about fun and having fun and seeing who you are. Like 30s should be like, when you're trying to.
Miley Cyrus is a perfect example
of what you should not do. Britney Spears is a perfect example of what
Miley
you should not do.
I think Miley is the new go-to. I think Miley is a perfect example of
now, because she's coming into her own. But look at what she did in her 20s. Like,
they all do that. She
got those real world
experiment in your 20s.
Yeah.
Experiment your 20s and then get it out of your system and now find your vibe. And I think Miley's new album that comes out in November is just going to take her to a whole new level. That Midnight Sky song, her vibe, and her and Ariana are good friends.
Right. Yeah. And I listened to an interview with her, and she goes, I'm at the point now as an artist, I don't have to prove anything to anybody. I know exactly who I am. I don't care if you like it or not. This is what I want to do, and this is what I like. Who cares if you like it? This is who I am. And I think it's brilliant. I think it's great. She sounds amazing. It's such a good sound. Her new Midnight Sky is my jam right now. I've told you guys this before, and I heard it like 4 times today, and I'm like, oh, it's so good. And when you listen to the lyrics, I immediately thought, oh my gosh, she's talking about Liam.
Absolutely.
She's talking about Liam. Like,
it's so good.
Yeah.
And like her cover of Give Me More by Britney Spears, like I literally said, it's better than the original. Miley should cut a version of Give Me More. It's so good. Like, I didn't realize, like, give me, like, when I hear Britney sing, give me
you wanted
more,
her to give you more?
No, I wanted her to sit down, get the help she needed. I didn't realize what was happening at the time.
I was talking about Miley, not Britney.
So, first of all, Miley's version, I heard the lyrics. Like, it was the first time I probably heard the lyrics. But then I also thought, God, this song really needs a bridge. Like, there's no bridge in that song. And when Miley sings it, you can almost hear it. Like, at the end, you're listening to it, and you're like, this is the end of the song. This is where a bridge would be. And I feel like if Miley had wrote that song, like, there would have been a bridge there. It would have been even better.
It would have been a huge, huge hit. I agree. But, we'll talk about Miley in November when the new album comes out. Do you know that she lost all of the original recording for that album in the fires in California? That's why her album's delayed.
Oh, were they in Britney's gym?
No, they're in all of your friends' baby arrival things, gender reveals. Don't leave Britney alone.
They should hire Britney.
I heard she's missing and she's swirling through the woods.
Yeah, they should hire Britney and she's just spinning around California.
Yeah.
It's a boy.
When you see that Tasmanian devil coming through the Hollywood Hills, it's just Britney.
She's like, it's a boy, it's a girl, it's a boy, it's a girl, spin.
Guys, I'm going to do a Britney update in a later episode once we get things under control, okay? I promise. Just pray for Britney. Pray. Send good vibes. She needs them.
She needs to get that nose under control because it is whittling away. Whittling away.
I can't address this right now. I don't have it in me.
No comment.
DJ, this will be on the next episode of Juicy Juicy Gossip.
Juicy Gossip.
I'm renaming the podcast. This is Juicy Gossip with Josh and 2 other people.
Wherever you listen to your podcast.
It's going to be Juicy Gossip with Josh.
Rate, review, subscribe. Okay. So, on the next episode of Juicy. No, okay. I'm going to take it. I'm going to let it go. But
I can't stand you.
We are going to all right. I have a game. Do you guys want to play with me?
If not, he's going to take his toys and go home.
You want to play a game?
He's going to take his Britney action figures and go home.
Baby, one more time.
Yes, I want to play your game.
Text it.
I want to play your game.
You want to play my game? Okay, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to refill our glasses. I'm going to get it set up, and then we're going to play a little game. We'll be right back.
I love the way that you talk.
All right, and we're back, and we're going to play a little game called Can You Hear Me Now?
How y'all doing? Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now? All right, so this is all about the people with the biggest vocal range, because Ariana Grande, who we were just talking about, has a huge vocal range, and they compare her to Mariah and all the greats, whatever. Well, I went down the rabbit hole of singers and their vocal range, and there's all about the soprano, the mezzo, the whistleblower, all this crazy ass shit. So,
My God, I can't wait to see where I land on this list.
Right?
Oh yeah, you probably are in the 6 octave range. That is just like insane.
Been trying so hard.
So this is what we're gonna do. This is how you play. Each round consists of 2 singers. Each singer has a vocal range, clearly, and then you're gonna choose the singer that you believe has the greater vocal range. That means they can hit more octaves than the other singer.
Okay.
We good with that?
Got this.
Okay, here we go. First contestants are, who has the bigger vocal range? Ariana Grande or Mariah Carey?
You put the hardest one on there.
Well, because I figure we're going to start with Ariana. We just talked about her.
I'm going to say Mariah.
So, don't you love that photo of Mariah? If you ever watch the YouTube version of this, you'll get to see this like vintage 1991 photo of Mariah Carey.
That's
so
my
great.
friend Allison Lambert. Like, I don't know who you're showing a picture of. But
That's me at Halloween last year. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, and she's
you were a
got that.
witch last year.
But look at her background.
I was
It looks
Superman
like-
last year. Clark Kent.
2 years ago, you were a witch.
But look at that background. It looks like Portrait Innovations or some shit. Like
Yeah,
I love it. She's at
Howard
Walmart.
Mills.
I don't like her tacky ponytail holder. I don't like her fake senior picture. I don't like the long glove.
No, I like the quilted like panels in the back of Ariana's.
No, I like 90s beige wall. Mariah, yes.
And I know that's her skirt from the Grammys.
That
That's
is
one
like
of her
permanent black hair.
It was the Grammys. You can kind of see that. But all right. Okay. So the winner is Mariah. Mariah has a 5 octave vocal range, while Ariana only has 4.
only has 4. As if
Yes.
it's like a bad thing.
I was like, mine is like a 1.5.
Yeah. And this is a more current photo of Mariah winning all of her Grammys. That was probably like the Emancipation of Mimi era.
That's
Well,
probably
you know,
her real hair too. That's
I
probably
think
her real hair.
Mariah wins because she has a lower octave than Ariana. It's not. I think they have probably the same high octave, but I think Mariah has the lower octave.
Are you a scientist? Do you know? Do you have? Where's your PhD?
I'm a musicologist. Yes.
I
Next.
see your.
Thank
yeah.
you. Next.
Someone mute CJ.
I have
All right.
studied music.
Who has the bigger vocal
man.
range?
Here is where we divide on the podcast.
Guys, let me say it for the people who are listening. Who has the bigger vocal range? Kelly Clarkson or Christina Aguilera?
Christina.
You guys really think that Christina has a
Yes,
better
they
vocal
really
range
do.
than Kelly
Christina
Clarkson?
does.
You're right.
No, I love Kelly.
Christina
But
has
Christina
a 4
can-
octave
Yeah.
vocal range, and
And
Kelly
Christina
only.
can- Sorry, Josh. I'm so excited about it.
So I just want to tell all the people who are listening, because this is a podcast, Christina has a 4 octave vocal range, and Kelly only has 3.
Yeah, so Christina gets the higher where Kelly gets the lower.
But the span is still 4 to 3.
Yes,
And that is where my science is.
because Christina can
Because
hit
4 is greater than 3.
Christina can hit that C above middle C. Or C
Christina can
above
kick
middle E.
everyone's ass in vocal range. We know this. Next.
Yeah, too bad she doesn't have a talk show. Okay. All right. Who has the bigger vocal range? Paul McCartney or Axl Rose?
Axel.
I feel like it's Axl, but I feel like this is going to be a surprise one. It's actually going to be Paul McCartney. But Axl gets those notes.
I know the photo I chose in retrospect, he does have his mouth open like he's really getting those high notes. But
Right.
he was wearing a Union Jack, and I thought that was funny because Paul McCartney's British.
Oh, he's British. That's cute.
All right, so the winner is Axl Rose.
Knew it.
Axl Rose has a 5-octave vocal range, while Paul only has 4. Axl Rose has a 5-octave vocal range, and he's widely considered one of the greatest singers in rock and roll.
No, he's phenomenal. And imagine this. Christina has a 4-octave range.
Yeah.
Axl Rose has a 5.
Yeah.
Which is the same as Ariana Grande.
No, Mariah.
Axl's got 5.
Mariah.
Axl's the same as
No, Mariah has 6.
Mariah's got 5.
Are
Oh, I
you
thought
not
Mariah
paying
had 6.
attention to the fact Mariah has a 5?
Mariah
I
has
thought
5.
Mariah had 6. Never
No,
mind.
I couldn't find anyone with a 6, if that makes you feel better.
You didn't look me up on Wikipedia, but
Yeah.
maybe next time.
Yeah.
Have you heard me do karaoke? I mean,
Yeah. No, but isn't it? I feel like I have to do a Spotify deep dive on Axl
But
Rose
let's be
tomorrow.
honest. It's Axl Rose, his wardrobe, and just him in general, just to classify.
well, it's because his pants are so tight. That's
Yeah,
what really
that's
gets
it.
him up there.
That's how it gets there. Okay, so next up, who has the bigger vocal range? Brandon Urie, who is the lead singer, or the only singer, of Panic at the Disco, or Usher?
So this one's actually a tough one.
I'm gonna go with Brendan.
I want to say Brendan because I know how amazing he is, but I also know Usher has a phenomenal voice, and he's got such a range.
I think Usher is one of the judges on a show about singing. What's it called?
The Voice.
Oh, there it is.
No, he's not on The Voice.
He was.
Usher was totally
Was he?
one of the chairs on The Voice.
What?
Oh,
You
yeah.
stop looking at Kelly the whole time. You are homosexual.
Usher. He could. Oh,
I
The way you
mean,
make
I love
me-
Usher.
Josh,
way
we're all
you-
dying to know who's the winner.
okay. So the winner is Brendan.
Thank you. Next.
Brendan
He
has
can
a,
also. Yeah,
Brendan has a
he
4
can also
octave vocal
imitate.
range. We're terrible at this.
There's a little bit of lag too, but he
Okay.
can also imitate Freddie Mercury.
Who?
So-
Brendan.
Yeah, so he
Yeah.
does a lot of covers.
Brendan
Queen.
has a 4 octave vocal range, while Usher only has 3, which is still very impressive for Usher. All right, next up, who's got the bigger vocal range? Adele or Leona Lewis?
No.
Eric, do you know who Leona Lewis is?
Yes.
Bleeding
no,
Love.
Not really, but I feel
Remember
like I know
Bleeding
what song
Love?
she sings.
Do you remember Bleeding Love?
Is it keep bleeding, just keep?
Yep.
I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I know who she is.
I'm
Two
gonna
steps for
say
me.
Leona. Leona
She
has
won. She won the X Factor in the UK.
UK. Yeah, I'm gonna say because I think she can do whistle tones.
Eric, who do you think?
I think Adele.
Leona Lewis.
Okay.
Leona Lewis has a 4 octave vocal range, and Adele only has 3. Adele and Kelly are in the same boat, which is the amazing
Yeah.
boat to be in.
But they're also really good at those 3 octaves. So like,
Agreed. It's funny that you said that whistle thing. I went down the whole rabbit hole about the whistle register. That's a
Yeah.
whole thing. Okay, next up. Who's got the bigger vocal range? Prince
Mercury.
or
these
Freddie
are good
Mercury?
pairings, Josh. These are really good pairings.
For those of you who are listening, who's got the bigger vocal range? Prince or Freddie Mercury? Think about this.
Freddie
Who's going to be
Mercury.
though?
Freddie Mercury.
Both are wrong. It's Prince.
I knew it.
Prince is one of the few males of a 5 octave vocal range, while Freddie only has 4, which is just insane, though. Like, if you think about like how high that Freddie Mercury can go, but his 4 must just be in that higher register or whatever. But yeah,
Well,
Prince
is it
got
like
5
Prince, or
octave.
is it the artist formerly known as, or is it like snake symbol? Like, which one are we talking about?
Is it
My
raspberry?
keyboard? My
Right.
keyboard didn't have that symbol, so I used this guitar picture to help symbolize it. Okay.
Raspberry Beret.
And this
Beret
is
when he,
the
like,
all right. And this is the
dipped
final
him.
one. The final one. Who's got the bigger vocal range? Whitney Houston or Celine Dion?
I'm
Eric?
going to go with my queen, Whitney.
I'm saying
Celine.
Celine for me.
Whitney.
Yes!
Ooh.
Yes, queen!
Okay.
I know. I just realized I have Whitney had a 4-octave vocal range, and Celine only has 3. Again, that 3-octave vocal range with Celine, Kelly, and Adele is the boat I would go in. But it's not the biggest boat, but it's the best boat. Yeah. But yeah, so that is, it just kind of blew my mind when I was going through this whole thing with like our Ariana Grande, how she's a light lyric soprano with a whistle register, which a lot of it's very opera based, which was not something I was interested in.
I would love to know which Harry Potter school she went that informed her that she's a light soprano with this little
and swish and flick.
Yeah, someone very famous, I'm sure.
When you weren't picked to be in that play, you were just Lingardio Levelos. No.
No.
For only seeing a couple Harry Potters, look how magical he's being right now.
Well, she is quoting from the first 2 movies, so
that's all I know.
It's not mimosa, it's mimosa.
Well, Josh, that was the juiciest gossip I've got all week.
Juicy squares.
Well, if you all love the juiciest gossip with Joshua, please rate, review, subscribe, the gayest podcast ever, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Guys on Grindr are looking for BBC. Like, they're just coming to our podcast now for the JJC.
JJC.
Or JJG, sorry.
JJG. Called JGG Whitworth.
Juiciest cock? Josh's juicy cock?
And we're going to end it right there.
Okay. All right. You guys, it's been a blast. We probably had too much wine. We definitely had too much fun. But we just want to thank everyone out there listening so much for tuning in. Please rate, review, subscribe. The best recommendation you can give us is referring us to a friend. Let them rate, review, subscribe, and then so on and so forth. And then we'll be the most followed woman on Instagram, replacing Ariana Grande one day. But thank you so much. Remember, please wear your mask when you're out in public, wash your hands, and vote. It is your American privilege and duty. So until next time.
Happy and safe Halloween.
Yes. Take care, everyone. Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.